nobody would ever have thought that he would go into art. I mean, we don't know, and we don't really have anybody in the family who does art in that way. You know, you give birth to children, but how they develop is beyond you. You can educate them, you can give them as much as you can, but I mean, what's in them comes from generations back. If the son or the daughter is absolutely determined to be an artist in whatever field, they will do it. Either they succeed or they don't.
Yeah, Mummy. Here in this, you see the anti-reality. There's no reality here. There are aspects of reality, but it's utopia, it's the future. We are in the year 2014 now, and here you see the jail, the cage, and the stage of art. Yeah, here is reality, not with me at the moment because I am anti-reality, but here you see the total anti-reality. In this room, every ideology, every political system has no chance, no chance. And you see masks, you see dolls, you see color, you see books, you see cloth, you see boxes. Everything is arranged, nothing is anarchistic, everything is in order. Everything is quietly, peacefully going into the future. Finished.
Well, that's you with your reality and your anti-reality. I'm seeing something completely different. I'm seeing the different things that you have been collecting over the years or over the last year. For example, these blankets or towels with the animals, you bought them in an open market some time ago. The banana boxes came to us in November with 5,000 art books. And we had so many banana boxes, and I thought, my God, where am I going to put them? Now I know where we put them. And
Mommy wanted to throw them away, and I was furious. I was, how can you throw these banana boxes away?
Well, then we luckily found a place for them. Then these mannequins, which I personally think are rather terrible, with their enormous bosoms, but I mean, he bought them about half a year ago, and these animals he constructed out of a basic dog, or they're also a basic dog. So I see lots of things because he is a collector of everything that comes his way. He never wants to throw anything away. And now here in these installations, luckily, we can use up some of the hundreds of things he buys and he collects. And I think it's very well done. I think that the bars are very important. These plush animals, he buys them by the dozens, so they are also being used here in different ways. So I'm quite happy. Apart from the fact that I think it's well done, I'm quite happy to see all these messy things arranged behind bars.
Exactly, the bars structure it. You look through the bars and it's structured, piece by piece. Everybody who looks in this has to smile. And somebody who is not smiling lives in the past. Then there is a cynicalism in them that has to be therapiert. Yeah, you cannot come here and not smile. It's impossible. And there you see whether you live in the future or nowadays or in the past. I know there are some people who say, oh, this is rubbish. Yeah, but then they are the rubbish of their own nostalgic past. And then you can say, hey, go into therapy or smile. Just smile a little. Yeah? Because art is not frustrating. And it's no frustration. And also people who say, oh, this is just thrown into this, there is no order, this everybody can do. Yeah, exactly. everybody can sleep, everybody can breathe, everybody can sweat. That's what it is.
But you know, lots of people ask me, are you proud of your son? And I say, if you work with somebody continuously, it's not a question of being proud or thinking what a famous artist he is, because there's always something to do. There are always problems, there are always challenges. Well, I can't describe Jonathan's art without telling you how it came about that we have been working together. You have to imagine a 22-year-old young man who dreamt his way through school, and then afterwards had no idea what he wanted to do. He went to England for some time and then came back, and he was just sitting in our flat listening to music. As for me, the two older children were out of the house. We had a flat together, and I had stopped working. I was doing some voluntary work for the museum, but I didn't really have anything to do. So when at the age of 22 he told me that he wanted a drawing pad and some painting utensils. Not having ever been interested in art before, I was just glad that he had something that he wanted to do. So he started, and once he started, he continued without stopping, painting and drawing all the time, and I supported him because I was glad that he had finally found something that he wanted to do. So when he started going to art classes for nude painting, for linoleum cutting, and to some other art schools, I just accompanied him, because the mad thing was that he knew no modern artist except for Picasso. And I knew quite a lot about art, but nothing about contemporary art. So we were both absolute newcomers in this area. And when he started sort of pasting paintings, drawings on cardboard, and then I had to loch them, to hold them and put a string around, and then we made little, very primitive books. I just continued working with him because it was fun. This is how it came about, and this is why we are still working very closely together, because we've been doing it now for 22 years. So that's how it all came about. You think that's right?
That's the history, part of the history, and it shows that art is a family business. Yeah, and it has to be like that. Friendship and family business. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Yeah, and it's not about money or something, it's about passion and total Hingabe to what you are doing. And this developed. And of course, she's not only working with me 22 years, she's working with me 44 years. Yeah, so
but
this is
in
clear.
Art only.
In art. But now you have to say what you think about the art. I mean, or what.
Well, that's very complicated, very difficult, because I am, as you probably know, I'm 84 years old, so I was educated in the tradition of older paintings and older art. And I've now got used to contemporary art. Some of it I like, some of it I don't understand. And also with his art, some of the things I like and others are beyond me, but that doesn't matter. I'm working for him even if I don't really understand it.
Yeah. She's working for the thing, she says. This is...
Die Sache. I'm working for... yeah. You only have the German word, die Sache, which he's making. It's colors, it's just taking energy out of your stomach and putting it onto the canvas. That is really it, and what comes out of it it's also very different because he also develops his kind of art. But otherwise I couldn't. It's just coming out of him.
Evolution. This is what we totally understand now, because you don't know it. When you are doing it, you are playing, and now then the words come, what it is, dictatorship of art, metabolism, and evolution is now the big theme. Evolution, animalism, animals. We are sitting here in a cage for and with animals. And this is very good, because we are animals, but in fact, we belong here, Mommy and me, because we are animals. We are still animals, wild animals, and biting away reality. This is my aim. I am biting reality away as long as I live. Wegbeißen. Weg mit der Realität. Reality is shit. Art is super. Yeah, and we have to bite reality away. This is the aim of living. Nothing else is important. As a person, no, every human being has to bite away reality and not support reality. We are not reality politicians. We are not politicians. Artists are not religious people, not politicians, not esoteric, not spiritual. We are animals, and we are biting away reality, and we are beating reality. We are beating it up and beating it away. It has to go. Yeah.
I understand what he wants to say. I don't agree, but it doesn't really matter. I accept that is his idea. I mean, he lives in reality. I mean, he breathes, he eats, he sleeps, he lies in the bathtub, and that is reality.
But this is not ideology. Yeah. To sleep and breathe and eat and be in the bathtub is not ideology, not politics, not religious. It's just a process of living in an evolutionary room. And that's what is meant. I mean, reality, I don't want to bite away breathing. I want to bite away parliaments, religious circles, religious elements. I want to bite away spiritualism. I want to bite away everything that is ideologically made up by human beings. No animal is ideological. No doll here is ideological. No color is ideological. Yeah, not me as a body. Only in my shitty brain, maybe ideology is developing, but not in my brain. No, and I don't let it in. My brain is a room without any ideology. It's not allowed. In this brain, ideology is forbidden. It's forbidden. Yeah. Okay. No, totally forbidden. Yeah. Sorry. It's forbidden. And no ideological person will ever enter my brain. It's impossible. You can torture me, it's impossible. It's not. My brain is not made like this. It's a game brain. It's a baby brain, animal brain, yeah? This is not there. I cannot digest ideology. I could not survive it. But I'm also stronger than ideology, and art is stronger. Also stronger than my brain, of course, because it will rot one day, which is fine.
When he was in school, all through school, he was dreaming. He was listening to music, and I mean, he was talking normally. But what was going on in his brain, I don't know. And what he's telling now has slowly developed. And
but I had the secret language when I was 12.
Yes, that you did. You
did.
This
dehe, doho, noninai, boitehe, dioti. This was my expression, and I was also talking like this really 1 year, totally, to separate myself from reality. I was before puberty. Yeah, with 12 I was like 8, and all my friends were suddenly grown up. And I thought, wow, how can I challenge them? How can I survive? And the only thing was with a secret language. Yeah, that made me even more baby, but I was able to separate myself and say, hey, I'm here and I'm strong. This is my way of surviving. It was like I had 10 or 12 words. Dehe, doho, nonni, nai, boitehe, nonni. This is my name, Johnny, but with an N, nonni. That means no, Johnny. You know, this all had a structure and a concept of something, but to survive. And then I did some gestures like, yeah, and I had these masks. Happa machen, happa. Yeah, this was my way, and I was also always putting, this my mother hates, but I did this hundreds of times, also with the parents of my friends, were always under their chin, and made, this was my way of surviving and to get distance and also to show my love. Because I touched really people under the chin, yeah, and said, yeah, and it went totally on the nerves of the people, but they then left me alone because they said, okay, Fool on the Hill, no problem. And I also listened to Fool on the Hill and Chiquitita and all these things.
His brother and sister thought it was very funny. And I mean, he was the mascot of the family, you know, and everybody loved him, and also the friends. So, I mean, these little things he had didn't really matter so much.
No, and I was called in the family Pig Nose, because my nose was even a little higher than now. Yeah. Steckdose, you know, and of course this is funny on the one hand, but to be called Pig Nose and Steckdose, yeah, it was okay. And my revenge was doing something to say, hey, Pig Nose is not so weak, yeah, and power comes from Pig Nose, yeah, very important, yeah. So.
And how would you explain that Jonathan suddenly turned an artist on his 22nd?
We don't know. We don't know. I mean, he says that he's been thinking about it for a long time, but he never talked about it. So when he came for his 22nd birthday, and he asked me for a drawing pad and some painting material, I thought, well, that costs 60 marks. It's very expensive. You've never done art before in your life. I mean, I think it was rather silly, but I bought it for him. His sister is a photographer, yes, and she's fairly artistic, but not in his way. No, and I was so glad that he had finally found something he really wanted to do. So, I mean, I didn't think about earning money or making it a profession. I was just glad that he was doing something. And, but then, of course, he started earning money with it.
What kind of job did you imagine that he would have before?
What we call a decent job. A doctor, a lawyer, an economist, something like that, you know. First you have a decent job and then you can do your hobby. This is what my generation was taught to do, we ourselves and also for our children.
I just remember that I always did the same. I went into the bathtub 2 times a day, in the morning and in the evenings. I loved milkshake. I was wearing cowboy boots. I had a Rollkragenpullover. Yeah, I was always very shy, tried to hide, always sitting in the back of the class. Always when I noticed that the teacher wanted something from me, I pretended as if I dropped something, so that he suddenly, thought, wow, this guy is occupied. But they understood these tricks, you know. And I didn't want to talk. I just wanted to be left alone, get through the process. I always thought about futures coming, but what future? No idea. And that it would be art, no direction, no thought about it. Art was nothing for me till 22, nothing. No thought about it. I didn't know anything. Not boys, nothing. I knew nothing. Never learned it. Yeah. Drawing was also not art for me when I started drawing. It was drawing. Yeah. That it was art, that came later. And then people told me to go to art school. They said there is an art school. Yeah. This I didn't know when I was 22, that an art school exists. Yeah. This was totally new for me. And then they said, do maps or do new drawings. And then I went to Volkshochschule, to all these things.
Jonathan works best under pressure. When there is no pressure, he gets very lazy and he does more or less nothing. If he's under pressure, then he really comes up to his top, and he can go to the atelier and work for about 6, 7, 8 hours, or he can start drawing, you know, at a big table, and he does about 50, 60 drawings without stopping. So, I mean, he likes to eat, he likes to sleep, and he does not like sports, like Churchill's. And but so it depends how the pressure is, you know. Without pressure, it's very difficult to get him to do the work.
I love the pressure that comes from art. I hate the pressure from reality.
Sometimes he's very enervating. He can be very difficult. He shouts at me. Of course.
What does he
Well, I'm the only person at whom he can shout because he's friendly with everybody else. So he needs what I don't know how we could call it in English, eine Prellwand, a bouncing wall. You know, so I'm his bouncing wall.
Shouting is for the family, you know.
Yeah.
This you can do when you love somebody, you shout. And when I shout, you cannot imagine. I could shout, and at the airport they will hear it. Yeah, and yeah, or at the railway station, because there's so much energy to be released. You know, this is part of the energy that has to go, because so much is horrible in the world. So, and art is super. Shout the anger that we are still ruled by politicians. This is.
How does that sound?
Well, I mean, it's
Can't do it now. Yeah, I could, but no. No, I said, Mommy, I will be nice.
No, it hangs on some
Yeah.
very small thing.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, he builds up anger, and then, I mean, this summer I bought him quite often cherries because the cherries were so nice, and then one day he was somehow full of anger, and I said, "Why don't you eat the cherries that I bought?" And he shouted at me, "I do not want to eat your cherries. If I want cherries, I buy them myself. I don't want you to tell me when to eat cherries." I mean, the cherries were completely unimportant. Mm-hmm. They were just the Auslöser, you know, to get his. And so I just listened to it, and then I went out of the door and left him alone, and that was it.
It's always frustration.
Yeah.
It's frustration by reality. I'm frustrated by reality, not art. I'm, of course, also frustrated by some politicians who pretend to be artists. Yeah. This is, for me, the most horrible thing. And it's full. The art scene is full of politicians who pretend to be artists. This is the now total fashion, you know. A political activists that disguise as artists.
I know what he wants to say, and I think that a lot of it in the essence is right. But I've lived a long life in reality with all its challenges. So, I mean, some of the vision that he has is beyond me. But it doesn't matter. I mean, you can work for somebody also where you think that part of the things that they do or that they say you cannot follow. But there's nothing bad about it. He's not aggressive. He's aggressive, yes, in words, but he doesn't beat anybody. He doesn't kill anybody. He doesn't mean anything bad to anybody. So okay, it's his vision, and that's okay. When he does performances, which is on a stage and it's really an artistic performance, he tends to lift his arm every now and then, and he says it's a gesture to take the reality out of this greeting and to make it harmless. I was a young girl, 14 years old by the end of the war, so I know Nazi times and the war, so I am very much against this raising of the arm, and I apologize in my mind because I say he didn't know what else to do with his arm, you know. But we had terrible fights. We were screaming at each other about this issue. But now I just calm down.
Yeah, and she knows it's a game. It's a total game. And I'm not a prophet. I don't know how the future will look like. No prophet, no religious person. No, thank you. I don't want these followers. Absolutely no. And they don't come, which is super. They don't come. And there are some misunderstandings. I get crazy letters from really, I don't know, horrible people, yeah, who want to participate in something you cannot participate. They don't understand this. They have to play on their own. That's the message. I cannot make them a career. I'm not the art professor. I'm not the art collector in this way. I'm not the gallerist. Often people write me letters to get a step into the culture business. But the culture business is not art. And I cannot deliver this. I hate it. Now, culture I don't like. I like art. Yeah, this is no problem. I like it like, I also like it like this. It opens the body, that's all. That's why Mummy is not so wrong. Because in the beginning I didn't do the salute when I was in art school. But I of course didn't know what to do with my hands, and that's why I had masks and dolls and things. But then it developed more strength in the body. Yeah, open it, make it stronger. And then you of course, what do? You do so many things. Yeah, just to open it. And then suddenly, of course, maybe one day I tried provocation. Yeah, one day. But I did this in China, in Japan, in Russia. I did it even in Israel. I did it hundreds of times in Germany, in France, in Belgium, in England, in America. In America, I did it 2 hours. Now nobody complained. They all knew and totally noticed. This is art. What else could it be? It's so out of order. And it's so ordern, also ist ordnet, ja, Kunst ordnet, ja. And I did it because also of fun, because it is a good feeling to do it in art. Totally, no problem, because I do it without ideology. People say, hey, you use these symbols, also Hakenkreuz or Eisernes Kreuz. These are ideological symbols. Are these people crazy? In a cup, there is no ideology. They are brainwashed, these people. They are so silly, they have to go to therapy. Yeah, in a symbol, in an object, there is no ideology. It's your projection, it's in your brain. It's in a Eiserne Kreuz or Hakenkreuz, there is nothing bad. And if somebody thinks that there is something bad in this, go into the past. Don't bother me and the future with your existence, because in symbols, in objects, in animals is no ideology. You put it into it, the adult brain, only the adult brain. No child has a fear of a Hakenkreuz. Never. No animal is afraid of a symbol. Never. Yeah, an animal is afraid of a bigger animal that eats him up. But symbols, they are free of ideology. And please don't project. And if you project, then you are the evil. You are the projector. You should never project and never let yourself represented by ideology. Never let ideological represent you. Never. Never vote for ideology. Never. I would never do a cross for an ideological group. Never in my life. Even if they torture me, I would do it. But under torture, of course. I'm not a Märtyrer. Ich bin kein Märtyrer. Martyr. Märtyrer, das sind keine Künstler.
No. Don't get so excited.
No, this is fine.
I mean, I normally, when he's talking like that, when he makes a performance, I'm never there. I don't even go, I don't even look at it.
Why not?
Because he's not my son. Then when he gets that excited and almost mad, he's another person. So I mean, in this case, okay,
Yeah,
I can
this is more
sit there.
explanation.
I don't like it because I'm not a person who gets terribly excited very easily. So I mean but it's.
But
it's
in
part
art,
of
it's
him.
necessary. Art is always an Angriff. Yeah, you challenge something. And also, what I am happy about, I must say, is that I get this wind against me. Still, after being professionally 20 years in the art scene, especially after having my first shows in Berlin, that's 15 years ago, people still think and say, I cannot paint at all. Everything I do is total shit. I am the most terrible charlatan of all times. And this is all an honor.
In our storeroom, we have about 30 skeletons of all shape and sizes. And I ordered, one of my jobs is also to put our order into the storeroom. So I sometimes shift skeletons around. So it's just a normal job, and I'm happy that he's successful, but that's all. If I get very sick or if I die, which of course is possible at my age, he will be very sad, he will be very sorry, but he will go on.
I don't want to think about it. And I want her to be vital as long as possible. And that's why I also scream, you know. I say, live, live. You know, you have to scream at the cells. And then they develop again. Yeah, you have to make people angry. Then they can live. Yeah, sei doch wütend, Mann. Also, the young people, they are not angry anymore. They have to be angry about their parents, but in the end, glass of wine and celebrate life. Yeah, immer böse sein, sauer. You have to really challenge, but in the end, in the evening, you have to have a nice glass of wine, and then think about the next day. Go to bed in a good mood, wake up, do the things. Mommy is always so good in the morning. Yeah, she's a morning person.
I'm a morning person, yes, yes, yes.
And
no, I
go
mean,
on.
we'll just go on. I will just be mobile and work as long as I can. I don't know how long that will be, but I know he can perfectly well be without me. He has lots of people around him who give him so much support.
Mommy has to experience the real dictatorship of art. I want her to see that the parliaments break and that the politicians go home and play.
I don't want to experience it.
You will.
I don't want to.
It needs only 10 more years.
No,
Yeah.
Then I'm 94. I
That's
think,
okay.
I mean, even Helmut Schmidt at 94 is a bit reduced, you
Well,
know.
doesn't matter.
No, we're not thinking about that.